Hello, Juan again here in documenting the journey of building something from scratch. So this video, I'm just going to explore the way or document how I'm going to go about creating my SMART goals and how I'm going to track success. And I'm going to use AI to help me structure them and write them for me. But I do need to provide some context. Where this comes from, I know that some of you may think, goal setting is a pain in the butt. Some of you may think it's great, and some of you may think it's not needed. For me, in this thing, what was happening or started to happen to me was I started to get all these stories in my head as to what are you doing this for again? What is it for? Are you wasting your time? La la la. And all these stories keep coming back. And I thought I need to build myself a little bit of a reminder, a thing that when I do these, if I'm sitting with Jax, my partner, and she goes, hey, how are you traveling? I can confidently say I'm traveling well, or maybe not so well, because of these things, because of these metrics, because of this. And also by looking at the goals, then I can think, actually, by reading them, even before you do anything, by reading them, you go, are you comfortable with that? When you read that stuff, does that make you feel like that achieving that will be a good thing? And because of that, because of the stories, because of I want to help myself accountable, because I want to I need to remind myself if this is going a direction I want, I just wanted to create for myself some goals. And I don't, maybe 3 to 5 SMART goals, and then find a way to track progress will be good for me. Maybe 3 will be even better. And also will help your self-esteem because you may feel like, oh, I'm doing some progress in the things that I set up myself to do. Before I jump into AI to help me structure the goals, I created I was thinking about these 4 buckets first for myself. And the first one is I'm going through this pivot on convenient truth about personal reinvention. And it's a place that it's not fun because, as I mentioned before, I was going that way. That's not the way. I want to go this other way, but I don't know what to do. Sorry, big sneeze. So in personal reinvention, it's all about looking at how many things am I really learning new stuff? Because I think I want to be learning new stuff. So how do I keep myself accountable on that? I also want to make sure that I'm exploring ideas. I want to do some personal exercises around my values, around my motivators, around how do I really want to live my life. Even things that are personal around how do I want to live as a partner and how do I want to live as a father, and maybe expand to as a friend and a family member. And those are things that I feel will help me then navigate my professional place because I want to do things that are aligned on my personal grounds first. The second one is inevitably I need to make a living and I need to grow as a professional. I need to keep building my career, and it could be through a career progression, doing a job somewhere, or it could be ready to build something else. It's too early for me to tell what would be the outcome. But in this place you can have, okay, am I creating different opportunities? Am I researching different industries? Am I exploring different topics that I need to be more of an expert, like obviously starting to play heavily with AI, as probably we all have, or we all. The third bucket is audience and engagement. And this one is one that I was thinking about in terms of what does it mean to me, the audience and engagement? And I think it comes down to community. And communities, I would love to find, whether if it's through documenting this journey or through accountability labs, which is a face-to-face session that I started. I've done one of those where we come together to keep each other accountable, or by any other means, a place where I started to have some I started to meet more people and feel more connectedness, as opposed to just doing right now it's me with me. It's pretty siloed, pretty lonely. Sometimes content can be a great vehicle for these if content resonates with your audience. I'm also aware that we live in an oversaturated content space. So I'm not sure how easy it would be to have a bit of an audience through the content I'm producing. Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe I get to meet a few like-minded people, but maybe not. So maybe it could be through face-to-face meetups, or it could be through other ways. But how do I make sure that I'm building a bit of a community through having an audience and maybe an engagement through the things I'm doing. Not just documenting the journey from content, but it's through also face-to-face sessions that I would do later on in my space. The other one is experimentation and growth kind of metrics in a way. And I feel that part of this journey and being uncomfortable doing this, like what I'm doing now, is around, all right, so how many tests am I doing? How many tools am I trying with AI? How many frameworks am I getting exposed to? Am I learning or am I experimenting in market when I have an idea of a service or maybe a workshop or maybe something? And am I experimenting that? And I would like as well to figure out a way where I hold myself accountable to unpacking new business, like something that I can sell and it's got a hard dollar value, like not just to talk, but it's like, okay, I'm going to test these 2 or 3 ideas, and then through that testing, I would like to potentially make some money. Okay, with this in place, now I can start to think about my SMART goals. So now what you need to think about, if you've never done SMART goals, some people like them, some people hate them, some people think they're a waste of time. But where I'm at now, where there's all this white canvas of possibilities and everything's just too broad, I feel like this structure will help me to stay on track of things. If you haven't heard of the SMART goal before, what it is, like the S is specific. Is the goal specific enough? Is it easy to understand? Is it not too wordy? And is it clear? Can you measure it? It's important to measure it as you do things within time. You start to feel like you're achieving things. Can you achieve this? Is the goal too big? And if it's too big, you may want to relook at it to make it into a smaller goal. You can keep the big goal in the long term, but you may want to reduce the scope of it a little bit so you can achieve it. Is it relevant to what you're trying to do? In my world, is it relevant to my rebuilding from scratch? Is it going to help me personally? Is it going to help me professionally? Am I going to be able to experiment something in market? So I need to stay within those boundaries. And how much time is it going to take to hit those goals? And keep a time frame will also help me build a structure and a schedule over the week and making sure I'm sticking to these things. Eventually, maybe the goals will change, or the format would change, but for now I think that breakdown will be super useful. So now that I have my buckets of measures of success, I've got a few parameters that I have in mind that could go in each of them, and I have a format, which is my SMART. I'm going to use the SMART goal format. I can start to think about the prompt that I want to use. And I was trying to think what the role for my AI friend is going to be. And I think it's going to have to be a combination of a business strategy, of strategies for the business and in-market experimentations, with maybe some career coaching. I'm not sure about, I don't know much about career coaches, but maybe on their personal and trying to discovery mode side of things, so that maybe a career coach would help. And I want these prompt to also have an expertise on monetization or things that I want to test in market. The goal needs to express the ability to track dollar value on the things that I will be testing in market. So I'm just going to go do a little bit of prompting, and then I'll share it with you once it's finished. Happy to, if you wanted to copy and paste it, just let me know. So I'll be back. All right, so here I am. I just put this in a Word document so you can see what I'm going to be playing with. So I did put business strategy, career coach, content strategy, and monetization. So I added a bit of content strategy, personal reinvention. I did helping writing these 3 SMART goals that aligned with my success metrics. And the success metrics can be found in context information of these on this prompt, because this will be obviously a prompt that I will put in ChatGPT. And I'm going to do it in Claude as well, see what comes out. So the steps are going to be, first, look at my measures of success. So review my success metrics and give me a bit of feedback in there. Write 3 SMART goals, and you can say, based on my measures of success, I want drafted 3 goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Great. All this is in the prompt, and establish a tracking and accountability. So I want to have a place where I can track progress. I know that what I would do in previous lives, in Blue Melon, for example, you would have a goal tracker and then track it in Asana. And then you can have, if it's a quick one, you can do Google Sheets and then Asana, so you can keep tasks and progress all within one place, which is useful. And down here, I've got the context information, what we talked about of my measures of success around personal reinvention, career, audience engagement, and experimentation. And these are just things that kind of I was thinking about, how could you just roughly measure these, like in personal reinvention, for example, number of business ideas or industries, or did I tested any skills? So what I've done is I'm going to go to, I put it in ChatGPT, and this is what happened. It comes with the measures of success, gives you an analysis on the trends and suggested refinements. So that's something for me to obviously dive deeper. I just wanted to show you what it created. I'm not the best writer, so I find some of these things really useful for me. It does speed up the process. I will have to do more reading, but it does help me look at the SMART goal, which in the past I would go, oh, I would dread more the writing part than the creating the goal. I don't know if you feel the same, but this allows me to have a super quick kickstart. And on the career and business clarity, the measure here is 10 in-depth research sessions and have 10 expert conversations. I spend 5 hours a week on structure exploration. Great. That's going to give me, I could go, okay, I'm going to have a time slot, or 2 times or 3 times a slot through the week where I'm just going to do exploration. Later on, I will need to look at what does exploration look like as tasks and things I need to achieve or activities, but that's great for me right now. And shortlist a viable direction within 3 months. So that's great, keeping me focused on, it is good to discover, but you need to find a bit of a direction. Then the second SMART goal is audience and engagement, building visibility and influence. I don't want to build influence, so that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to document the journey. So these are things that probably I would be tweaking. What I say in the audience for me is there a way to build a community, or to meet other people, or to have a conversation about these things, but maybe visibility, but also it's for me as a journey, as a habit. Because it does help me. As you can see now, I'm here on my own on this world in my head, but it's giving me a structure. I'm building that structure so then I can make sense of the activities that I'm doing. The cadence is 2 LinkedIn posts per week. Is it post like a little post or an article? I don't know. 4 YouTube videos in 2 months, super achievable. 8 TikTok clips, probably will do more. So I think those metrics are quite conservative. I will do more on those ones. And in 90 days. Super doable. Monetization, experimentation, I added the pound because on my prompt I put UK grammar, which is fine. So it says I need to test at least one monetizable opportunity. Could be a workshop, consulting, or digital or service. So it starts to give you ideas. Cool. So to give you ideas of what could these be without getting into the granular detail. Start with a minimum viable product. We all know like the minimum thing that you could put in market to test if there's an interest. And I would need to make £1,000 in revenue within 6 months. I think I'm going to have to change that to something a lot healthier. But I think so far it's done a fantastic job. And the third one was, okay, I want you to help me think about how do I track these things. And I was just curious because I've done it with Google Sheets and Asana, tracking goals and metrics of success. So in this one, it says you can use Notion or Airtable. And this is something great because what's happening with AI is now starts to suggest products. So you can see now that instead of SEO, so changing optimization, can you be found on browsers? Now is can your brand, can your product be suggested by these large language models? So these, in this instance, Notion and Airtable were suggested, Google Sheets or Trello. So instead of Trello, I would use Asana. YouTube and LinkedIn Analytics for the content, perfect, and accountability check-ins. This will be cool. Me with me, sessions with me would be maybe something I explore later on, where I can have, once I have the goals in place, what I could do is maybe have a live section of one-on-one with one and hold myself accountable as to see how I'm tracking. So that was ChatGPT. And then I've done the same thing on Claude. Same prompt, because I just started to test which ones are going to be more beneficial to me. And what I noticed with Claude, even though in the prompt we do have Draft 3 specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, SMART goals. The format, it's so different. So this is the recommendation on success metrics. So it's saying strong foundation in tracking my personal reinvention and business journey. That's great. Some suggestions that I will look later. But look, goal 1, it's a different format. It's not the specific, measurable, and time-bound, same kind of format that we have here, which I find quite useful. This one just went more into a rational, and what it's telling me now is for Claude, the recommendation in this is by June 30th, have a content strategy and publish 3 YouTube videos, 12 TikToks, and 6 written pieces. That's a bit tricky. Resulting in a 40% increase in total audience engagement metrics. Okay, so this one is now focused a lot on obviously the content that I'm producing, and the biggest difference here is the level of writing as opposed to what ChatGPT was doing. And some of these things, who knows, you just have to test which strategy do you want to go for. The other one is test and evaluate 5 distinct channels, and it goes into digital products, consulting, courses, affiliate marketing, memberships. So it suggests other things which you can take into consideration, and I need to generate at least $3,000 in cumulative revenue. So that number is a bit healthy, the £1,000. Assume if I guess £1,000 could be $3,000. So it's pretty similar. And a skill and network, 3 high-level AI tools for content creation and business automation. So it's heavy on content because I'm documenting the journey. I don't see myself as a content creator, or I'll become a content creator. I'm just seeing where the journey takes me, if that makes sense. But so that is something that I probably going to have to look. I like the collaboration, so you get to meet other people and be out there, and so you're not just on your own. And the different tracking recommendations, this one is more action based, so every 30 minutes have an update of metrics, 2 hours analyze trends, full a day review. So this one's going not just on the tools, but it's giving me a little bit of a framework or tasks of things that I need to do. So if you have a project management software or a place where you can add tasks, you can give yourself those tasks on a weekly basis and make sure that you stay organized. So that could be useful to keep myself momentum on all these goals, and making sure that obviously the metrics are up to date and I can adjust on the fly. Notion goes again, having a content calendar. You can do it in Trello or Asana. I got Asana. Financial tracker, for the monetization, that's super easy to do. And a learning journal, which I think this is it. My documentation of this is my learning journal. And recognize people points. So I'm gonna park there. I'm gonna probably grab the best of both worlds and go into this format. Is the one I'm going to use. Download it into my Miro board. Something that you want to be very careful and make sure you do this is download things from your chats, because sometimes when the memory runs out, then the information may disappear. So you want to make sure you keep this information somewhere. And then as you start to build your universe, like what I'm doing with the journey, then you start to see all the stuff that you are creating, and you start to connect the dots, and you don't get too lost on endless scrolls of chats and things like that. So that's it. My goals done.